On this 200th anniversary year of the establishment of our townships, we will briefly go back to March 3rd, 1817, at a meeting before Geauga County Commissioners, when our communities formally became a named township and were permitted to form a simple local government. Before 1817, this area had the legal designation as tract number 6 in range 9 for current Bainbridge and tract number 6 in the 8th range for current Auburn. Before that time, today's Bainbridge was often called Kentstown or Austintown, after two larger landowners, and Auburn was frequently called Troy. The number descriptions reflect the designation given by Moses Cleveland Survey conducted in 1796 for the Connecticut Land Company. The first family to settle in this area was David McConaughey in 1811, near today's Crackle in Snyder Rose. Soon, other families arrived with names such as Bildad Bradley, who built near current Route 44 in today's Auburn, Gamaliel Kent, and the Smith brothers, George and Robert. Families soon came from Connecticut, Massachusetts, and New York, building one-room log cabins and clearing the heavy forest for farming. By trading established farms out east, they could own more undeveloped land in the Western Reserve for only $1.50 to $3 per acre. By late 1816, residents believed it was time to follow the ordinance of 1787 and take the first steps for local government. The state of Ohio allowed men of the township to elect 3 trustees to handle day-to-day matters and a justice of the peace to settle disputes. Thus, residents petitioned Geauga County Commissioners in Chardon. Paperwork was approved by the end of 1816. In the spring of 1817, several settlers traveled to Chardon to finalize their plea. Residents and county commissioners met on the first Monday in March 1817. Let's listen in. We have citizens McConaughey, Bradley, Kent, and George Smith. The commissioners are Jedediah Beard, Jesse Dodd, and Solomon Kingsbury. Others attended as well. Here's Commissioner Beard, a former lieutenant colonel in the Ohio Militia during the War of 1812.
Gentlemen, we are in receipt of several petitions from landowners in the southwestern part of our county, some from the area we refer to as Kentstown or Austintown, and some from the area of land to the east that we've been referring to as Troy. Resident McConaughey, you were there first. We'll start with you.
Thank you very kindly, Commissioners. Good afternoon. My name is David McConaughey. My wife and our 6 kids, we traveled from, correct me if I'm wrong there, Blandford, Massachusetts. Over 600 miles, took us nearly 53 days. We settled here, we stayed with my brother, just to the south in Aurora. We built a log cabin on our 100 acres of bountiful wooded land, and we settled in there, I think it was Thanksgiving Day, 1811. So over in tract 6, our kids, they've cleared out a bunch of the land for farming. They hunt deer and elk and turkey. And people say that we were the first here to settle. Others have settled, I think, along Chillicothe Road, which takes you to the Lake Erie to the north, all the way to the hills of the southern part of this good state. Commissioners, we're good, hardworking, God-fearing people. We left the rocky soil in the north and the east to come here to establish our roots in this town. And we're excited at the prospect of self-government. Thank you very kindly.
Thank you, sir. Let's see, can we hear from Mr. Bradley?
How do you do, Commissioners? My name is Bildad Bradley. I am 37 years old. I came over 600 miles from Massachusetts to I about plumb near wore out my oxen and horses. I built my first house out near the state route, but then I came to find out it was in the wrong location. Phew-wee, my wife, she gave me a passel of crabbing about that portable cabin. Nevertheless, in 1815, I had to take it all down and up and move it further west. I built my second cabin out near the state routes on track number 8. It was a lot about 8 by 10, and my back felt like it was broken about 8 to 10 places by then. My goodness gracious. The roof leaks when it's raining, but my wife and I are pretty smart. We put out a couple of pans to catch it. It saves us a trip down to the creek for water. I believe that my wife and I, Emily, are about the first settlers in this area. I have some neighbors to the east, but they live out near the state road. So as I'm working on this road, so it can run all the way north past Charlotte. I've been cutting down trees, and let me tell you, their bite is worse than their bark. I got calluses on my hands, rough enough to skin a coon. Here, like this one. There you go, my lady. We don't have as many residents as our friends to the west, but we are dedicated to becoming honorable citizens, and we believe that we are ready to take the next steps towards governing ourselves. Thank you kindly, commissioners.
You're here.
Thank you.
And you, sir, Mr. Kemp, can you tell us a little about yourself and why it's time to become self-governing?
Well, commissioners, my name is Gamaliel Kent. I'm the head of the third family in my community. I emigrated here a while back from Suffield, Connecticut with my wife and 5 beautiful children. Unfortunately, in 1813, our house was burned to the ground. And we had to build a new one in a hurry before winter hit. There were no doors, no windows, and no chimney. My family and I nearly froze to death. After that, my son and I ran a small general store right there by the corner of North and South Road. But as y'all can imagine, we soon went out of business due to poor paying customers. And now we just farm. And we're hoping to build a nice A-frame barn this year. You know, commissioners, my family and I came to this new land, Ohio, believing that our future would be brighter. And let me tell you, we have not been discouraged. And as a matter of fact, some people who live in my community like to refer to it as Kentstown, for which I and my children are most proud. Thank you, commissioners.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kemp. Mr. Smith, can you tell us a little about yourself?
Thank you, commissioners. My name is George Smith. I came here from Washington, Berkshire County, Massachusetts with my wife and children, arriving in February 1817. We traveled by a sleigh, 2 yoke of oxen, and a horse. It was a torturous trip. We had to change from wheels to sleigh runners at times, and the roads were tortuous and rough. When we were going through New York State, we were detained for several days by the tragic loss of our 7-year-old son from whooping cough. Perhaps that's the reason that we offer our home for religious services, to remember our past, but also to thank the Lord for the health and safety of all of those in this beautiful wilderness. We're good folk. We work the land and we look out for one another. We're ready to be self-governing. Thank you, commissioners.
Amen. Thank you, Mr. Smith.
Well, I, for one, am persuaded that we have a group of people here who are strong in background and self-governing, and they say they are God-fearing and ready to establish a township. What do you want to call this township?
Commissioners, we have argued over how to name our township. 3 of us have came up with a plan how we might name our township. Each of the 3 of us have put our name in a hat, and our hat can be held up high above our heads, and someone can pick a name out of it, and whoever's name is selected, their choice will prevail. Is that permissible, Commissioners?
I think that's acceptable. Gentlemen, you come up and put your names on it. Thank you. Ma'am, would you do the honors? Thank you. George Smith. Mr. Smith.
Commissioners, we would like to name our township Bainbridge in honor of Commodore William Bainbridge.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how this community was named. The name pulled out of the hat was George Smith, who wanted the township to be called Bainbridge. Now, back then, Commodore Bainbridge was a very well-known war hero. He had served the Navy for 18 years by 1817 and was extremely important in the War of 1812. His job was to intercept British ships which were carrying supplies to the British Army fighting against our country. His ship, the USS Constitution, later referred to as Old Ironsides, sank 5 British frigates that were en route to the United States with war supplies. Commodore Bainbridge received the Congressional Gold Medal for his important victories. The minutes of that eventful commissioner meeting reads as follows: "And that the town, known by the name of Kenston and Troy, or number 6th in the 9th range and number 6th in the 8th, be declared a separate township by the name of Bainbridge." Interestingly, the name Auburn was not included in the minutes of March 3rd, but within a few months, the eastern community was clearly separated from Bainbridge. No one knows the reason. Perhaps combining both areas was too large, given the requirement that townships were to be 5 miles by 5 miles in the Western Reserve. Unfortunately, a Chardon courthouse fire in 1868 destroyed most documents of this era. But we do know that Auburn was a separate and independent township by the end of 1817 and had elected its own justice of the peace. Thus, it is appropriate that Bainbridge and Auburn celebrate the bicentennial of their establishment as townships with the right to local government. Thank you.